And let's talk about this other big news story of the morning. Kohl's abandoning talks to sell itself to franchise group, saying it's in the best interest of shareholders to execute on a strategic plan on a standalone basis. The retailer now planning to move ahead with an accelerated share repurchase program and it plans to open more than 100 smaller format stores over the next 4 years. Joining us right now is Kohl's CEO, Michelle Goss, and board chair, Peter Boneparth. Good morning to both of you. Walk us through what happened here.
Good morning, everybody. This is Pete.
Who wants to take it first? Yep. The chair or the CEO?
How about I'll take it first on process. As we released in our 8K after an extremely exhaustive process over 5 months, starting with 25 potential bidders. As you all know, we actually then entered into exclusivity with FRG at a $60 purchase price. That exclusivity then expired. We gave FRG a couple more days to try to work through that period. Ultimately, both the price offered and in our judgment, the judgment of our advisors, the unlikely ability of even that transaction to close, the board unanimously voted to terminate the process and continue to execute on our strategic plan.
And so, Michelle, I don't know if you want to add to it, but I understand what you're trying to do here. The question, I think, for some shareholders is going to be, what is the upside from here doing it as a standalone process, as a standalone company?
Yeah, you bet. I'm happy to jump in. Well, first, what I just call out is we all know that we are in a very uncertain, unusual time, right? There's a lot of pressure on the consumer. I think the retail sector is feeling that. We're feeling that, and we've shared that this morning. But I think we have to remember that this is a moment in time. And Kohl's has been through tough environments before. We have a very strong balance sheet. We've got great cash flow. We will navigate this time, and we're certainly doing that as we sit here today through being a real big value player, and we're amplifying that message. But that doesn't at all change our conviction in the long-term strategy of this company. We are pivoting ourselves to really stand for the active and casual lifestyle. And in the center of that transformation is our partnership with Sephora. We are soon to now be opening, we'll be at 600 doors here just in the next couple weeks. We've opened that in a very rapid pace, 850 by next year. And these stores are doing really well. Sephora is doing great. We see that as at least a $2 billion opportunity. We're seeing new customers come in. We're seeing a halo effect in those stores. Those stores are outperforming the other. So all of that is ahead of us. I mean, if you might remember, we just had a couple hundred stores, over the course of the last few months. So we're ramping, and we're really excited about what that means. So again, we will navigate the short term, but this is about long term, and those signs are really positive.
Hey, Peter, process question for you. You're looking at the stock down now about 18% this morning, obviously on the back of this news. Is there any argument to be made that there should have been a deal and it should have been done very quickly?
Yeah, no,
thanks for the question. Was that even possible?
So if you, again, I'd reference you to our 8K where we've gone out of our way to detail at length all of the steps that were taken from January on. I think the shorter answer to your question is a reasonable person will conclude after that, with the board exhausted every possible outlet. We got to a period of exclusivity, and as we've said, it's a two-pronged approach to why we've ended the process. We both felt that the price offered was too low, and that we also did not have conviction that transaction could actually close. The complexity of the financing involved, the lack of commitment papers that we received, frankly, even with that transaction, led us to believe, and certainly in this environment, that we were actually trying to catch a snowball going down a hill. So understand that you can be second-guessed all along the way. In the end, I think when somebody reads the 8K, you'd be left with no other conclusion that we did everything at every point in time to maximize value in this process for the shareholders.
So for a shareholder who's looking around saying, this thing's at $29, how are we going to get it to $60? What do you tell them?
Well, I think we believe strongly in the strategic plan. I think $60 has never been a transaction that was on the table. Again, we entered exclusivity. We did not receive an offer for the company at $60. So to be clear, when we entered the exclusivity period with FRG, the board had committed to doing a $60 deal. That was not a deal that was ever offered to the board of Kohl's.